Hey, welcome in everyone. Today we are going to be doing an unboxing of this beautiful box of the Marvel Champions Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So let's get started here. I'm gonna start opening this up. This is the first time I'm opening it. I'm excited about it. This is cool. I'm excited to actually be playing these heroes. I've been watching the streams and folks playing them, but I should have brought maybe a sharp object to pierce this. There we go. So let's crack into it and see what's actually in here. So who knows, maybe I'll find a golden ticket in here or something, but I am just in general really excited to finally be opening this up and joining the ranks of everyone else who's been playing this and enjoy it. So we are going to crack this open and let's see what we get here. All right, so we already know what we're getting inside. You can look that up, but that's one part that I enjoy about Marvel Champions is that it's not a trading card game. You know what you're getting. You don't have to go track down, mystery packs of things. So right away, we open up with our campaign log here, the rule book. One nice thing about Marvel Champions products is that they're really well done and they're just always great quality and all that jazz. So I like even on the front here, they have been keeping the final villain top secret, so if you really want to hold on to that surprise, you can, and I won't ruin that until the end of the video. So, you can stick along until we're getting there. Actually, I mean, I might say that just spoiler alert right off the bat. If you don't want to know what's in here coming up, maybe skip this one. But while we're looking through here, it has the different ways to set up the scenarios, your starter decks, and we're going to jump into all the different scenario pieces. And so I've always liked that they do like the comic strips on here. So this is pretty standard stuff. They get all their villains and everything that we're doing in here. I like the campaign log back here. I don't think I've never actually filled out one of these actual campaign logs because I don't want to just do it on here. I really like Dale the Casual Gamer's version where he has an iPad pulled up and crosses them out. But typically when I'm doing a campaign, I just take all the notes on on a note on my iPhone or whatever device you have. So that's cool. Yeah. So we get a campaign log. Let's see what else we're gonna do here. Let's kick off with some of the other things and then the heroes. So here you have the cool little clue-esque cards that come in here. So you're going to put, as you're going through this, your campaign, you are uncovering clues, like different cards that cross off the possibilities of one of the board members being the villain, and then you have the actual final clues stashed away, similar to the game Clue. So that's really fun, and that was a cool mechanic, and I like how they did that. They got to use a lot of creative juices there in creating this campaign. So let's break out Maria Hill here. She initially is a hero that I was the most excited for, and after I've been watching playthroughs, I'm still excited, but I think I might have to. It'll test how much I actually want to be in control of a game, and do the setting up, and really run the behind the scenes. Because Maria Hill can be very, very strong, and is very strong, but she's doing it, from behind a desk, and it seems like they did a really good job of making that into a hero. And of course, she's not always just behind the desk; she's out there kicking butt as well. But so this is Maria Hill, the 2 thwart, 1 attack, 2 defense. Each ally gaining the shield trait is awesome. I like when we get heroes like that, like similar to Star-Lord. Everyone you're putting in already comes in and has the Guardian trait. So I like that, especially that we didn't get a card that was like honorary shield member or whatever. We don't have those honorary cards for shield, so at least this gets through that aspect of it. And then on her alter ego side, she's you get to include all the different shield cards, and then you exhaust her to look for shield support, usually one of your helicarriers, and you get to go off and have a blast with her. So we will continue looking through here. We have Maria Hill. That's the hero card. We're going to have her ally, Nick Fury. The All Points Bulletin. There's 2 of those. I like that card, and that, like, by the end of the game, you're getting all those shield supports out. I thought this was going to be a little more powerful as I've been watching people play. I don't see a lot of All Points Bulletin being used, but that is a-okay. What else do we have here? We have 2 on the doubles where you're readying shield supports, and that's very cool. And you can do a bunch of different things with those. Yeah, that's the readying the ones with supports 6 or less, so that comes in handy for sure when you're trying to make pushes and you're trying to do all kinds of things. We have 3 of the reinforcements, which are, this is the one that I was thinking of. You can choose any number of those supports and place shield counters on there, or the all-purpose shield, the all-purpose counters. And so what I've seen, and what I'm glad I've seen people using, was when I first read this card, I figured, oh, because she has her ability to move all-purpose counters around, you can be able to, like, the goal for me would be to be put as many all-purpose counters down as I can. So that would be things like onto the field agents and command teams and things that are lower cost, so you can really boost up how many all-purpose counters are on the supports that are on the board. So I like that. The hard call, similar card that seems neat, but I never really see used, but it's, I guess, can be powerful, right? If you discard, one of your 6 cost helicarriers, you're dealing 6 damage to each enemy, which is bonkers. So that'd be cool in a multi-villain scenario, I guess, where, I guess, like the Wrecking Team, where I think you're able to deal 6 damage to each of them. I think that would work out that way. Correct me if I'm wrong there. And then, of course, she gets her 2 double resources, which you use to pay for the shields stuff. Her support staff, the Iliad, right? Support staff. So now we're getting into the really powerful things with her. So the support staff, you get to exhaust that and create resources. The Iliad is insane, where you get to deal 5 damage to an enemy, remove 4 threat, heal 3 damage if you really need that, but I think you're typically focusing on the damage and the threat. Life model decoy, card to come in when prevent your death. And then shield director, this is the card I was thinking of, incredibly powerful. You just get to exhaust this and place those shield supports, place those all-purpose counters out. Very cool. So I'd be interested to see if they do more like in the upcoming decks, because I know we had 2 announced that weren't necessarily focused on shield, but the following 2 I could see how they could be integrated into shield, but we'll see. Anyway, we'll see if they do more stuff with the all-purpose counters. Honestly, they have enough already that we probably don't need them. So then we break into her deck with Victoria Hand, Slingshot. These are 2 allies that you can read about those. Victoria Hand seems useful enough entering play and readying a shield support, but Slingshot is interesting and kind of, she's a slingshot. She kind of yo-yos in and out of the field, so you could read about that. We'll continue on here. So you have our organizational support. That's when you spend this card, exhaust up to 3 allies or supports that share a trait and generate resources on each card exhausted this way. So that's right. This is your kind of like a 3 3 resource here, like your the power band together, or whatever that card is. We have the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, which is a sport. This is your team card, where actually I guess I haven't really seen this used much. If each of your characters have the shield trait, this card gains interrupt. When you reveal an encounter card, exhaust and cancel all the effects of that card and discard it. Then reveal another card from the encounter deck. That's huge. If each of your characters has the shield trait. Yeah, that's a really cool card. We have a lot of cards that do that similarly in um, Marvel Champions, but it's cool that they have a support that actually does that. Talk about like control and really controlling a game. So we get our more command teams, and now we dive into our different helicarriers. So we get the Circe, the Bellerophon, the Douglas, and the Pericles. And I feel like, by the time if you're watching this, you might have already seen playthroughs with all these. They're pretty darn awesome. So, yeah, that is that grouping of stuff. I'm just trying to think what else I would suggest here. Yeah, I mean, the Pericles kind of, we've seen that become, again, if you're playing villains that don't have stalwart or steady, especially, the Pericles just kind of stunt, like prevents all progress from those villains. So that's an interesting build. It seems like that would get old quickly, but like fun right away. But if you're just like dominating games by doing that, it probably gets old. Similar to like Doctor Strange, who just has an insane amount of stun and confuse. Once you're doing that over and over again, it's really fun, but it can get old, and you just kind of want to start deck building to make it a little harder. Depending. I mean, she's not as nearly overpowered or like has different abilities, a whole different hero than Strange. But anyway, we get our Dum Dum Dugan again, Grant Ward, where kind of he's plays both sides. Melinda May, Super Spies is their team up card, which like makes a lot of sense for playing Maria Hill solo, but like I wouldn't include this with Nick Fury solo. But either way, let's see. So now we have our energies, genius, and strength. So they've announced that when a new cycle comes out, like a new type of deal, like say they do Defenders or say they do Fantastic Four, I think they'll come out with new art for the double resources. So it's cool stuff. And then we get, I think, is this still her deck? Yeah, we're still. Yeah, I guess we're still in her deck unless these are all still part of it, unless I pass something up. Yeah, that makes sense. These are like coming right out of the pack here. These aren't separate hero packs. So anyway, and then we have a front organization, which prevents you from having to discard your supports, which I don't know if I'd actually get too much use out of that. But anyway, now we have her obligation and her minion controller, which I don't know anything about the controller. A lot of my knowledge comes from Marvel knowledge. A lot of it comes from like the video games. So a lot of what's it called? Not Marvel Champions. This is Marvel Champions. The oh gosh, I kind of blanking here, but anyway, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games is where a lot of things come from my original memory of Marvel, and then it was all just diving into Marvel Champions and the MCU and all that jazz. But anyway, while I think about it, I don't really know control. That's neat though. I guess I don't know much about Maria Hill either, so that's fair enough. So that was Maria Hill. Let's take a look at Nick Fury here. So we're gonna go dive into his deck that they included. So as I was saying, I am excited for Maria Hill, but after watching playthroughs, I think Nick Fury is who surprised me in that I really, really like his abilities to control some of that thwarting, bringing the threat over to your suit forms. It seems like I'm going to enjoy Nick Fury a little more than Maria, but I mean, I'm just going to have to play and find out, so we'll see. Nick Fury, his hero form, right, he has the standard stat line that we'd like to see, 2s all across, and then after he makes a basic thwart, one of those threats go onto your suit form, and then if you're in your if you attack, you change to assault form. In your assault form, when you attack, you can remove threat to deal additional damage. But the real juice comes into a stealth form here, where when an enemy would attack you, it schemes instead. And then one of that threat, gets placed here on instead of on the main scheme if there are 5 or less on this card. So from what I see, you're constantly using the threat on this card, so that 5 or less doesn't affect it too much. And then we got the surfing Nick Fury. I don't know any lore behind that, but it's fun seeing him just, I guess, surfing. I don't know where Fury found the time to learn that, but he's out there. So I guess in hindsight too, I wonder if it's like if he's actually in the water, or I think in the MCU they show him just like kind of relaxing with an ocean breeze, and then cuts out and it's all just sort of artificial. Anyway, when you're in this form, you can you change your stealth suit. So that's Nick Fury, him in his stealth, and him in his suit. He's very thematic. That's, I mean, one thing that FFG just continues to do is make heroes so unique and so thematic. You know, it feels like you're playing as that character, and they do it. What, they've done it 60 times now, or 50, between 50 and 60 times of just making unique, great experiences. So I don't. That's incredible. It's a lot of great brains over there at that company. So we appreciate it, and we get the benefit of it. So he comes in with his Maria Hill ally, and then he has 2 attack events with concentrated fire, where you're dealing damage and then doing stuff with your suit. The covert surveillance, removing threat, doing stuff with your suit. There are 3 of those, which is nice. Getting just some extra threat removal, and then you get your spray fires, which, I mean, they love to include the dealing 3 damage and to villains and minions with their heroes. I always find myself not really using these kind of cards too much, because it's just like similar to how, like, it's the pricing of it. Usually the juice isn't worth the squeeze for me, but sometimes you're overrun by minions, and these are good to have. So then he has a lot of cool support. So he has his flying car, with just the kind of groovy card art here, where you get to exhaust it and you're readying. And then I kind of forgot about the aerial trait when he uses this, but readying, and that just gives you opportunities for more thwarting and such. So he gets his sports and upgrades. His safe house, similar to what Black Widow has, a safe house as well, or something like it. You're healing and you're giving out threat to your suit. And then you have your upgrade. So you get your shield. When you would take any amount of damage, discard this and prevent all that damage, which is great. Again, a like kind of archetype of, or a type of card that I don't use too often, but handy when you're in danger of really getting hurt. So then the eye patch camera, this is great as well. Again, I'd be interested in seeing. I know. So when you're discarding this when threat would be placed on the main scheme, and then you're placing 3 of that on your suit form instead. I feel like I don't typically use these types of cards, like the Justice one, Covert Surveillance, or whatever it's called. But at least this one, you get a little more out of it, where you're placing that threat onto your suit form. So maybe in like actual play with Fury, I'll be using the eye patch camera, but we'll see. And then we get his watch, which is your resource generator, and then intelligence analysis, which is awesome. You're just canceling the effects of treacheries and discarding it. I do love cards like this, because get the treacheries out of here. And then Secret Agent, which, let's see, what is Secret Agent? After you resolve the ability of a preparation card, move 1 threat from a scheme to your suit form upgrade. Yeah, I never really see this used too much, but it is very interesting. I guess typically people during gameplay, you're probably trying to do other stuff rather than spending 2 on this, but it's definitely an interesting play. I like the idea of the preparation stuff. I enjoy playing Black Widow and getting to focus on preparation things. So now we dive into the cards. We have Agent Coulson, Quake, Global Logistics, and all cards we've seen before. Informant, I feel like, is new unless it's a different card art, but when a minion schemes, the activation removes instead of placing it. I mean, I guess, like, I don't see myself using this unless you're really wanting to get as many preparations down to the table as possible and just kind of getting them out of your deck and thinning the deck. I could see that. The intelligence, honestly, the first game I might play of this is if you check out Daring Lime's video on Nick Fury's deck construction. He kind of takes and simplifies his starting deck and like makes it more playable and fun, which I never really get the hate on like out of the box the starter decks, because they're not like, I get like, yeah, you can go and play them right out of the box, but they're not really intended that way. I mean, there could be like they have to include the cards. Like they have to give you 3 versions of, Informant, even though it's max 1 per player, or 3 versions of, any whatever card. They're gonna include that, and so it's the discretion for you, right? 3 under surveillances. You don't need that in your deck, but they need to give you the 3 cards, so of course it's going to be in their like starter deck. So anyway, I really don't understand the hate on like why there's so much discourse about like, oh, who has a good like out of the box deck. I don't know why I can't think of the actual name, but like don't limit yourself. There's an awesome community where you can go find infinite, an insane amount of decks on Marvel CDB. So go do that. You don't want to be playing a 40 card deck with 3 under surveillances. Don't do that to yourself. Actually, go enjoy the game. So that's my little spiel on that. But those are his Justice cards, and these are all like preparation upgrades. Prism Dust is a tech card. So cool stuff. I'm excited to like go play that like Daring Lime deck with my own little versions of it. And then within his deck, he has Nick Fury Sr., which is kind of a what do they call it? A debuffed or a nerfed version of the actual Nick Fury card. So you get Nick Fury Sr. here, where you're drawing 2 instead of 3 cards. Super Spies again, which isn't really. I'd include it with Nick Fury if I'm playing with the hero Maria Hill for sure, but like if someone else is playing as Maria Hill or I'm playing two-handed, but in a deck by itself, Super Spies isn't going to make the cut for me. But people that will are probably Gemma Simmons and Leo Fitz. Again, like expensive cards, but they do a lot of cool resource generation for tech stuff. So I'm very interested in doing that. Oh yeah, if you have the shield trait, these are only 1 cost, so it's like feels like auto includes for. I guess it depends if you're focusing on tech, and Fury has a lot of tech. So anyway, all those like upgrades and stuff. So depends, but Sky Destroyer, which I think they included it because it's shield and they want people to have that, but not a necessary card in this deck. Practice Plan. After you discard a preparation card, return that card to your hand. That's pretty cool, kind of like setting up for extra resources as well for later down the line if you're just sort of left with a practice plan in your hand, but not a card I prioritize. And then we get his Obligation and then another minion set that I don't really know anything about. But Orion, I'd have to look into what kind of beef he has with Fury, but I'm sure it's Leviathan soldiers. Yeah, I'm sure it's big beef. So anyway, we have Maria Hill, we have Nick Fury, and those are hero cards. So looking at those, we'll check out the scenario. All right, so I took a little break and we are going to break into the actual cards here. So here we go. Now we looked at our hero cards. Now we're looking at the actual villains that we're going to be going up against, and then, like any campaign type of cards. So we're going to crack this open. And the starting villain, so right, spoilers ahead here, but we start with Black Widow. So she comes in with her 3 villains, and she's based around her tech cards. So her Widow's Web. The X, like how much it goes up by, is what Black Widow's stage number, which is interesting because I don't think we've seen that. And like if you're throwing 3 onto the main scheme and it only goes up to 10 per person, and you're playing an expert, it's pretty difficult. That's some wild stuff. So anyway, we get Black Widow's Gauntlet. I was surprised to see in a recent video by the Masked Hero, he put Black Widow here on one of his favorite designs for villains, and so that was cool to see, because I haven't been too excited to play her, but that made me, a little more excited. So she has her set here of 23 cards, and a lot of the stuff is based around the AIM commandos, AIM grunts, all these AIM villains that we're going to see throughout. And so she has her cards mimic a lot of the Black Widow hero version. So attack acrobatics is in here, things like that, covert ops, dance of death. Like these were cool to see in here because they come from the same Red Room training program. They have those similar moves. So she has her Widow's Bite. Then we get more AIM minions, which I'm excited. I'm excited to go through and actually play this. AIM science. So I broke into. Oh, I passed up. So Black Widow's ends with her Widow Bites, and then we end up jumping into the AIM abduction modular set where your allies are getting abducted and things are happening with that. And then we get the AIM science, which this thing seems like a real son of a gun when I have seen it played out. So that was Black Widow, and then we roll on here to Batroc. Batroc is how I've been hearing it. I know I was watching, I think Captain America and the Winter Soldier recently, and he's like the first villain they run into on the boat there, and they definitely say his name. So I've been wanting to go watch that again, at least the first 20 minutes, and go see how they say his name, whether there's any flair on it or if it's just straight up Batroc. But every time I read it, I want to say Bartok for some reason. But I don't know if there's some sort of IP out there with a character that sounds like that. But Batroc, here we go. So he has his A and B versions, and then this is all about keeping your threat level and alert level low so they don't know you're there. And so that happens, and then you're rescuing captives while you're there, which actually I haven't seen the card art for this. What an awesome card art that they included here. It shows this woman here just smacking an AIM soldier with a fire extinguisher. That's pretty awesome. So anyway, here's the rescued captives. I didn't realize they were all the same art, but it's a really fun art to include. I wonder if that's actual I feel like all the art they use comes from actual comic stuff, so that's pretty cool. Maybe not. I mean, I don't think so actually. I think they do various card arts. Oh yeah, it shows it down here, Lorenzo DeSanto. So either way, that's right. If you're ever wondering, yeah, they do. You can look at the bottom of your cards, and typically it may show where that card art is coming from, or who the artist is. So anyway, here we go. We're gonna go. They have their minions, embassy guards, embassy patrols, and I think, yeah, some of his treacheries. There we go. So that's the end of Batroc there. And then we have his brigade. So, right, there's kind of typical allies, or sorry, minion encounter set here, which these get real annoying from what I've seen. When defeated, you shuffle them into the encounter deck. When defeated, someone revealed, I don't know, there's some stuff in here that they can get tricky, at least I thought maybe, but anyway. The Soldiers of Fortune. Oh yeah, when revealed, you can spend 3 resources to buy them out, or you can find a mercenary minion and reveal it, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to move on from here and move into Mr. MODOK here. So where does he come into play? Where's the MODOK cards? Upgrading adaptoids. That's going to be MODOK here. So, interesting. So we're going to break into here and find. Here we go. The MODOK. So he again villain with an A and B side. So he's going to have adaptoids that he's making. So he's, doing his experiments on this holding cells. You're trying to break these folks out so they can help you out. So, or I think, right? I think they're helping you out. They're holding cells. Can't quite remember, but oh yeah, on the other sides they have their hero or their ally versions, and so you get environments into play and things like that. And then I think your like things activate that these environments coming out. So and it buffs up the adaptoids, which are here. So we have 4 of those, and these things just keep on coming. So you have your adaptoids, and you know defeating them does cool stuff for you. So I do. This is cool card art here. Automated mobile unit. So it's MODOK and just like a I don't know, apocalypse looking armor type of deal there. That's pretty sweet. So then we have his more stuff here, upgrades for and attachments for MODOK. Man, he has a ton of attachments. So in his set here, finishes off with 2 minions and 2 side schemes and some treacheries. Hopefully I'm actually showing these on screen. If not, that'll be unfortunate. So now we break into Scientist Supreme is a modular set that we're getting. And then next thing breaks into our Citizen V. So Citizen V here is cool. And what he's going to do is end up bringing in the Thunderbolts. So this set here is just straight up called the Thunderbolts. So we can go take a look at them. So yeah, we get Jolt, Innocent Bystanders. Wait, what? Is Jolt a Thunderbolt? I'm not too sure. So we're gonna look at those, and then here we go. I think each of the actual Thunderbolts have the Thunderbolt keyword, and they have their own like sets. I don't know, Jolt is a Thunderbolt, but anyway, when you're doing this, I think when you set them up, in here in your setup you choose, I think randomly pull a Thunderbolt minion or 2 of them and then include their cards. So we have Moonstone, we have Songbird, we have Black Widow, which will break into the last set of cards here. And so here's V. Alright, so it's cool that all of these are modular sets as well. So we're getting extra. I love including modular sets. Here is her stuff. Yes, so that's Black Widow. Then we get Radioactive Man, which is an interesting card art for him, given the other Radioactive Man art we have from the core box looks very different than this, but we get Radioactive Man. And then Mach 4, who I'm definitely not familiar with Mach 4, so I'll have to check that out. Supersonic, I think that's the last one. Oh no, and then we get Batroc as well, the Thunderbolts. So this is, thematic coming out with the Thunderbolt movie coming out, which I'm excited for, and we should all be excited for. But spoiler, I think if you're watching this, you're aware of the spoilers here. The final villain, and especially if you know anything about the Thunderbolts in like the comics and XYZ, Baron Zemo has a big part of that. So anyway, Zemo comes out and he's the final villain here, and so he's focused on convincing board members to sway, and you're trying to figure out who the mole is and all that jazz. So I think from when I looked at it, they did a good job of making this campaign specific, but also a scenario you can play without the campaign. So here we go. So that's the Baron Zemo stuff, and then we break into S.H.I.E.L.D., which, right, interesting. S.H.I.E.L.D. as a modular set where when defeated, the engaged player discards 1 S.H.I.E.L.D. ally or support they control. That's brutal. I didn't realize that was a thing. So if you're playing with this modular set with a S.H.I.E.L.D. hero, you definitely want to probably bring along those like vans that prevent this. So there's your S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, and then gonna break into the executive board and all this jazz. So you have your S.H.I.E.L.D. execs, I didn't realize, I thought it was just the executive boards. I didn't realize there were, oh yeah, the aim interference cards. These things are just brutal because it makes you add more counters to the officers. And then we're getting our executive board different evidence things, which allows you to grab different cards and stuff when you're setting up during the campaign. Which I guess, yeah, I don't know how this works if you're actually playing just a one-time hit at, or just playing Baron Zemo outside of the campaign. You probably just don't do the setup versions of this, which would make sense. So yeah, those are the evidence cards. That's Baron Zemo, and that is the full box here. So, I mean, I'm excited to play this. Let me know what you think, and if you've gotten to play this yet, definitely please subscribe and like and comment below. It's really helpful for the channel and for myself, and then for us to interact. And so hopefully you guys enjoy some what gosh, sorry. Hopefully you guys enjoy unboxings and whatnot, because I have so much stuff that I could still unbox when it comes to Lord of the Rings things, Final Girl, a couple things that man, I have infinite boxes right now of Marvel United, which maybe I'll unbox. I'm hoping to actually sell that stuff, but because I don't, it's just like with all the gameplay, I never actually played that game, so it's silly for me to have just all of it sitting there. So anyway, that. That's this unboxing. I thank you guys for joining along, and we'll catch you next time.